So how do you get ear training? Well, back when I was in music school, there were no smartphones, no mobile devices, no internet, no electricity. To do ear training back then, you needed a really good friend, preferably someone with no social life, like a fellow music major, someone who had nothing better to do than to sit at a piano and tap out notes and chords for you to guess at without looking.
What interval is this?
Minor sixth?
Wrong!
But thankfully, there are now a bunch of apps that let your phone or tablet stand in for your loser friend. Apps have unlimited patience and are available whenever you are. They also do a much better job of tracking your progress and providing feedback than you'd get if you were running through exercises with a friend at the piano. The first one that I'm going to show you is a must-have app called Functional Ear Trainer. Unlike most of the other ear training apps that are available, this one teaches only one skill, but it's a critical foundational skill, and this trainer teaches it really well. It trains you how to identify any given note in relation to its tonic, also known as the root of the scale. Let me show you what I mean on the piano, and then I'll show you how it works on the app. So Functional Ear Trainer works like this. It gives you a series of 20 questions. Each question begins with a 1-4-5-1 cadence. To tell your ear what key you're in. Then it plays a note. And your mission is to figure out what that note is in relation to its nearest tonic. Here's its nearest tonic. There's another tonic down here. You make your guess, and then it plays you the answer with the passing notes between it and the tonic. Then it goes on to the next question with a cadence. Another note. And you try to guess, and then it plays the answer. That's the closest tonic, so it goes to that one. And that's the secret sauce right there. Playing those passing notes is what's training your ear to hear the distance between the note and the nearest tonic. So when you hear another question, in your mind's ear, you hear the passing notes. La, 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 la. And you know what note you're on. Let's take a look at the app. So here we are in the mighty Functional Ear Trainer app. You can pop in here if you want to read up on the app itself and the theory behind it. You can pop in here and create some exercises of your own. But let's start here where you get drilled on intervals. The exercises are grouped into 4 broad categories. Major scales with chromatics, minor scales, and minor scales with chromatics. Let's go into the major scales category. The exercises within each category are grouped into sets, each one building on skills developed in the previous sets. As Julie Andrews would say, let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. So there's our cadence to create a tonal context. Now we have to say which note we think was played after the cadence. Mi, re, do. Do. Fa, mi, re, do. Knowing a little solfege can help you here, but it's not at all necessary. You remember solfege, don't you? Julie taught it to us when we were kids. Let me respond incorrectly now. So it tells me I'm wrong, gives me another shot. Down here it's keeping track of my win-loss record. So far I've gotten 3 right and 1 wrong. And over here it's telling me that I'm on my 5th question out of 20. If you happen to distract yourself while, say, making a video or daydreaming about Julie Andrews, you can replay the question and continue. The 20 exercises in this first set only deal with the lower half of the major scale, and it doesn't include any chromatics. If this were a C major scale on a piano keyboard, the top 4 notes, G, A, B, and C, are grayed out and inactive, and the black keys are missing altogether. They'll appear in later exercises. The next set deals only with the upper 4 notes of the C major scale, and as you probably guessed, the set after that puts the 2 halves together. The remaining sets increase the challenge by sometimes playing notes that are above or below the displayed octave, and additional sets go into major scales other than C. When these get too easy, it's time to move into the next category, which adds chromatics to the major scale. You'll see that these exercise sets are organized exactly like the sets in the previous category, beginning with half scales, working up to full scales, and then adding in scales other than C major, and notes from outside the displayed octave. Let's jump into the deep end. Once you've been through each set a certain number of times, the app has enough information to start reporting out on your progress. This tab here takes you to a graph of boneheaded answers versus correct ones. As you can see, I had a nice streak going, then I got boneheaded, and now I'm sort of leveling out. This page uses traffic light colors to show me where most of my mistakes are occurring. Green keys indicate a high percentage of accuracy, yellow and red not so much. So the button representing the minor 6 is telling me where to concentrate my efforts. I've only gotten that note right on 83% of my attempts. I can even access more granular info by holding down that key. This shows me that when I should be selecting the minor 6th, I'm choosing the augmented 4th 50% of the time, and I'm choosing the minor 2nd 50% of the time. So this app not only tells me which notes I'm getting wrong, it's telling me which other notes are misleading me. If I back all the way out to the home page, you'll see that there are still 2 whole categories I haven't even touched yet. One on the minor scale without chromatics and one with. There's clearly a lot of wealth to be mined here. In short, this is a fantastic app, and at $0, you'd be a fool not to use it. This is Complete Ear Trainer. Because I'm experimenting with the free version, most of this app's features aren't available to me. If we enter the easy mode section, for instance, we find that most of it is grayed out. And that's true for each section. Let's drop in here and look at some of the specific challenges. So it starts off very easy. It's going to play tones, and I'm supposed to tell if they're octaves or minor thirds. Then it does the same thing with octaves and major thirds. Then it challenges me with octaves, major thirds, and minor thirds. One thing I like about this app is that it locks you out of higher level challenges until you've achieved at least a modest degree of competence with lower levels. One thing I dislike about the app is that all the challenges appear to be timed. I certainly appreciate the value of gamifying instruction and review, but I'm not sure that speed is the best method for doing so in this particular case. At the very least, I'd like to have the option to shut off the clock. Maybe that option's available in the paid version. At the end of each session, you get sent to a stats page with a bunch of numbers that don't mean anything to me. They've got some convoluted scoring system based on your correct answer ratio and your response time. I pay no attention to it. And here's where you might get a sense of why I'm not thrilled with the timed challenges. As you can see, my average response time is already less than a second. So at this point, if I wanted to improve on that, I'd probably see better results if I trained myself physically to tap the screen faster than I would if I worked on mentally processing the correct answers. That said, the benefits of this app greatly outweigh my one gripe. Here in what they're calling classic mode, you can see that again, a bunch of it is grayed out, but it continues. Very similar challenges to the ones I just showed you. Interval recognition, this time with fourths and fifths and octaves. And so on. This one's a little more advanced in that the tones are played together, not in sequence. Backing out to the home page again, and now we go into arcade mode, which is entirely grayed out except for this one challenge, which looks pretty intimidating. This last section of the app allows you to create customized drills, which, while a generous feature, is probably unnecessary. From what I can tell, the app's developer has already included every challenge you could ever want in an ear trainer. Last time I checked, this app only costs $3 or $4, so there's a good chance I'll buy it eventually. But I'm also considering another app called EarBeater. Let's take a look at that one. This is EarBeater Lite, the free version of the app. Most of the features, however, are available in the free version. I think the full version costs $7 or $8, so it's a little pricey as ear trainers go. At the same time, though, it's very thorough. All the challenges under this first tab require you to do the same thing. Pick the larger of two intervals. The only thing that changes from one set of challenges to the next is the type of interval you're being quizzed on. It starts out with unisons and octaves, progresses to things like major seconds and minor sevenths. Notice how very little of it is grayed out in the free version. Let's drop in for a quick demo on one of these exercises. A is the first pair of notes, B is the second pair of notes, and I have to pick which one's bigger. Now I'm going to get one wrong on purpose. So let me pause to show you how much information I'm getting here. First, it's showing me the correct answer in musical notation and the incorrect answer, also in musical notation. Then down here, it illustrates the same information on a piano keyboard. And down here, there are 20 little nodes. They light up green for correct answers and orange for incorrect answers. As long as I continue to get answers right, it forwards automatically. When I get an answer wrong, it pauses, lets me examine the information, and then I can resume. Off I go. The challenges under the second tab are very similar to the ones I showed you in the previous app, Complete Ear Trainer. The app plays two notes, and you have to name the interval. As you can see, it's multiple choice. The possible answers are down here at the bottom. And it forwards automatically when I get them right. But if I get one wrong, it pauses so I can examine what I did wrong. Just like in the previous exercises, it's showing me my win-loss record down here out of 20, and it's showing me the correct answers, incorrect answers, both in music notation and on a keyboard. The third tab is chord identification, and it starts out with major and minor triads. Then it progresses to augmented to diminished triads, and it graduates to stuff like minor 7 flat fifths. The fourth tab is even more insane. It teaches you how to tell one chord inversion from another. That's a skill I can't imagine myself ever needing, but hey, whatever blows your hair back. And the last tab teaches you how to recognize different scales. Oddly, it skips right over the major and minor scales and goes straight to the pentatonics. It's going to be a while before I get to this tab. Like the other two apps I showed you, EarBeater allows you to create your own exercises, so you could probably add major and minor scales if you wanted to. That feature is not available in the free version, though. So here's to ear training. It's not just for music majors anymore. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button before you go. You'll be a better person for it. See you next time.
Wrong. No. Wrong. 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 This isn't cooperating.
Okay, well, choke up on it. Yeah, you know you're...